morning, guys. I am down here with my goats today. I've got one of them behind me here pushing me. Let's see if we can get a little picture of them coming in. But we have 3 Nubian does. This little one is just 6 months old, so she's just a baby. But we keep these guys on the property for milk for our family. And so I have 2 of my does that are old enough to breed. In fact, they were bred last year, and they gave us a buckling and a doeling. We ended up keeping the doeling. We sold the buckling because he's related to them all, so we could not breed him back. And I'm not ready to keep a buck on my property just yet. So we sold him, but we did keep Honey, who is the 6-month-old. Now, she is not old enough to be bred yet. They really need to be 80 pounds and at least 8 months of age. So she's about 6 months old, and she's not nearly 80 pounds. But that's okay, because just these 2 girls here, they provide all of the needs that we have on our property for dairy right now. They suffice for our milk needs as well as for our yogurt needs. I'm hoping to get into cheese making this winter. I'm hoping to really focus on what I need to do for cheese making and learn all of those skills so that I can start doing that next year. And then when Honey's ready to be bred, we'll have a 3rd doe in milk, and that may be enough for us. And if not, we'll just keep a few more doelings if we're lucky enough to get some when kidding season comes. But because I have to breed these guys, there's a few things that I have to think about. Hey, don't push me. She wants me to pet her, so she's pushing me. So a couple of things that I have to think about with these guys is, where am I going to breed them? Hey, 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 no, no. Since I don't have a buck on my property, that involves quite a bit of thought and setup. You need a separate area for the buck. You need a wether, which is a neutered buck, to keep him company so that he's not trying to break out all the time and get to your girls. You also need an area to keep him far enough away from them, because they say that if you keep them too close, your milk can get very, very goaty. Luckily, our milk, it tastes just like cow's milk. I have had so many people that were very, very hesitant to try the goat's milk, and they cannot tell the difference between the goat and the cow when we do a taste test with them. And that's just the way that we handle the milk. So there are some things that you need to learn about that so that you don't get that yucky goatiness, because if you buy goat milk from the store, it is disgusting. I would never drink it. My kids would never drink it. But this milk from these girls, just fresh and raw, is perfect. So anyways, I have a friend. Now, she has Nubian goats, and she is the one that actually led me to make my decision to get Nubians, because she had them, and she's a great resource for me. And so what they do for us is they actually take our does for 28 days. These goats will cycle into heat every 28 days. And if I just did a driveway breeding with her buck, meaning that I brought my girls, her buck, did his job in that one day, and then we took the girls back home, I am not assured that they're going to get pregnant. And because I am keeping them here and feeding them and paying for them to be here, I need to make sure I'm getting something out of these girls. So she and her husband and her family are gracious enough to keep our girls for 28 days so that they are insured to go into heat. Her husband even sends me text messages. He's really, really good. He'll let me know when they go into heat and when he thinks that they've been bred, so that I can adequately plan for 5 months later when they're going to give birth. But that's a big undertaking. So they have to watch my girls. They have to feed my girls. They have to put them in with their buck. Plus, they have all their goats to care for. So what we've done is we barter with them. Okay, so we don't pay them cash, but we barter with them. So last year, my friend, she really wants to get into canning, but she was worried that she may not like the way that the canned food tastes. And so I gave her a bunch of canned goods, among other things, to offset the cost of breeding my goats, so that I'm not having to pay in cash. So this year, I will bring my does to her. And we have decided that we are going to help them process their pigs this year, so they don't have to bring their pigs to a processor and pay for that to be done. So Nate and I will go there with our kids when they're ready to process their pigs, and we'll get that done for them in a day. I also try to do other things too. I try to bring food when I can, like sweet potatoes or peppers. I just brought her a bag of seed garlic so that she doesn't have to buy that, because seed garlic can be really expensive, and I have plenty, and so I want to share that. So I would encourage you guys to think of ways that you can maybe not have to pay for things with money. Maybe you can barter. Maybe you can exchange services. You know, Nate knows how to run heavy equipment. Maybe he can run heavy equipment for somebody, and maybe that person happens to be an electrician, and maybe I need some electrical work done at my property. Or maybe I want to wire the generator to the house so that I can just backfeed my panel in case of a power outage. You know, that's something that you need a licensed electrician for, and I'm not ready to attempt that on my own. So you know, those are all things that you can barter for and not have to be spending your deflated dollar on, because you pay exorbitant prices right now for things because the value of the dollar has just dropped so dramatically. Another thing that you can do is think about things that you can have on hand to barter, because I think that in the future, I do really think that bartering is going to become a bigger thing as prices go up and people really can't afford stuff. You know, I make sure to have a ton of socks on hand. Not only do we go through them, but I mean, think about it. You know, if you cannot afford to go out, socks right now are like, gosh, 15 to 20 bucks a pack. Who can afford that? You know, that's so expensive. So I get them when they're on really good deals. I buy a ton of them. And I just store them up in the attic. And so when we need them, we have them there. I'm hedging ourselves against inflation. And maybe I can help somebody else out. You know, maybe somebody else needs that. Or maybe they can trade me for something that I need. So that's a great way to do it. And I would encourage you guys to be very generous. Try to be generous with people. Try to really form relationships. Try to form some community so that when times do get bad, you know who the people are that you can trust, right? And they're thinking in their head, wow, you know what, she really helped me out with that. I didn't even ask for that. You know, she just brought me this item. You know, she's always been great to us. Let me see if I can help her out. And so I would really encourage you guys to form community. See what you have that others need and others have that you might need that you can trade. Because I'm gonna tell you, if you are spending your dollars right now on everything that you need and you're not able to find other ways to acquire those things, it's a very easy way to quickly run out of money. One thing that I actually think is smart to do in this time period with your deflated dollars is to pay off those debts that are fixed rate. So if you have a debt that you acquired prior to all of this inflation and you have a low interest rate on it, such as a mortgage, most Americans have mortgages, I would really encourage you guys to take that extra money and pay those deflated dollars towards that debt, because you're essentially still having to pay the same dollars towards that debt, right? It's not, your mortgage is not going up, right, as inflation goes up. Most of us are in a fixed rate 30-year mortgage. So guys, if you can get that debt off your plate, oh man, I mean, what a relief that would be. That's something that we're hoping to be able to do. Because debt can really, really kill you, especially if it's not fixed rate. If you're, you know, paying those high credit card rates. I mean, I think maybe, did they say they're up to like 30% or something? That might be totally off base, but I know they're at least somewhere in the 20s, if not higher. So that's just, oh man, if you can get that weight off your shoulders, guys. But just a few things to think about. I wanted to tell you guys all that today, just to show you that, hey, you know what, there's other ways to do things. Just think about things. Ask people, you know, they may be very willing to do that. And like I said, be generous. Form communities, form those relationships with people now so that when times get tough, they'll be there for you and you'll be there for them, because I guarantee community is a really important thing, and you're gonna want those relationships if things do really take a turn for the worse. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'm gonna get out of this goat pen. These girls are mad at me because they want their grain, but they still have a few hours to wait. So thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day.